Gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Higgins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, thank you for your time, your dedication to our country, and for your devotion to restore sovereignty along our southern border. My colleague earlier, Representative Langevin, put a graph up. I've asked that it be put back up. That request had been declined, but I refer to it because it certainly shows that an all of the above strategy to secure our border works. Since 2000, our colleague's graph showed a decrease in illegal apprehensions. Since 2000, 19 years ago, we've built more than 650 miles of physical barriers along the border to help control illegal crossings. We've deployed sensor technology and increased Border Patrol staffing. This is exactly why a bipartisan solution exists before us, my friends, and it does not make sense to me why this has become a partisan issue since President Trump's election. Physical barriers, technology, enhanced capacity to respond, they work. This does not mean the current crisis does not exist. Let me just put this in context for the American people. Perhaps the most famous invasion in the history of the world, D-Day. 73,000 American troops landed in the D-Day invasion. We have 76,103, according to my numbers, apprehensions along our southern border last month. We have D-Day every month on our southern border. Just to put this in context for America, yes, physical barriers work, enhanced technology works. The ability to respond and arrest, to process works. Of course, none of us want to separate families. We as Congress, we have to fix the laws and allow these law enforcement professionals to do their job. I know the men and women of Border Patrol to be highly professional and patriotic in their mission to secure our border. I know firsthand from my experience as a cop, from my service on this committee, and from standing alongside frontline defenders. Our border agents deserve respect. They certainly have mine. I'd like to highlight two cases, Mr. Chairman, which exemplify the professional manner in which border agents conduct themselves. On the morning of January 22nd, a Honduran gentleman, along with his elderly wife, illegally crossed into the United States. They were apprehended and taken into custody by Border Patrol. A few days later, while still in U.S. custody, the Honduran gentleman complained he didn't feel well. He received medical care. He was immediately brought to a hospital, medical center in El Paso. Within hours, the Honduran gentleman was treated by a team of American doctors. Less than 12 hours after reporting his discomfort, he had a brand new pacemaker surgically implanted. The next day, he was given medical clearance and his follow-up prescriptions. American taxpayers gave this man a pacemaker that crossed into our country illegally. We're certainly a compassionate and generous nation. Another such example involves the forced separation of a mother and her child by coyotes, which, by the way, human coyotes give our animal friends a bad name. The smugglers convinced the mother that it was easier to move the pair separately. They separated the child from their parents. They left a 3-year-old child on the banks of the Rio Grande. It was Border Patrol agents who rescued that child. It's Border Patrol agents who rescue thousands of people from smuggling and trafficking routes every year. The southwest border is arduous terrain, difficult, inhospitable terrain. Those who choose to come here illegally do so at great risk to themselves, their families, and certainly their children if they bring them. Madam Secretary, please share with America how many rescues did Border Patrol successfully perform last year?
Over 4,000, sir.
Over 4,000 rescues. Madam Secretary, if you were given more funding and additional qualified agents, would you be able to better secure our border and more compassionately enforce the laws that you have sworn to uphold?
Yes, sir. What's important to understand is, first of all, this is a national security concern to protect our borders. Secondly, Congress has directed DHS to take operational control of the border. I cannot do that with these laws and with these resources.
Thank you,
So,
Madam,
yes,
and
I
it's
ask
our
that.
responsibility to change the laws where they need to be changed. I'm committed to work with my colleagues in a bipartisan manner, Mr. Chairman, to change the laws as necessary. It's the law enforcement professionals' job to uphold those laws, and they are doing so now. And I yield.